There's growing over plans for some of the world's biggest names in football to form their own league. Clubs like Real Madrid, Liverpool, and Manchester United are among those forming the breakaway European Super League. It will feature 20 teams with 15 founding members, including the Big Six in the English Premier League. And that is something the British Prime Minister strongly opposes.
We're going to look at everything that we can do with the football authorities to make sure that this doesn't go ahead in the way that it's currently being proposed. I don't think that it is good news for fans. I don't think it's good news for football in this country. And look, don't forget, these clubs are not just great global brands. Of course they're great global brands. They're also clubs that have originated historically from their towns, from their cities, from their local communities. They should have a link with those fans and with the fan base in those communities.
The Union of European Football Associations and other football governing bodies also opposed this move. The bloc's president described the breakaway as a personal betrayal. He also singled out leaders of Manchester United and others, but the move does have its supporters.
I couldn't tell you who the top 6 clubs are in this country. I think there's many teams fighting to get in the top 4. So I think that's the first point. But in terms of everything I've seen yesterday and this morning, it's strange timing. I think it's a strange situation to come out, but I'm sure there's reasons for that. I think the best thing to do is to wait to see which information comes out and on how it's actually going to work, if that's the case, because the people in charge of these clubs are not stupid.
And the investment bank JP Morgan says it is financing the new breakaway Super League. That group will be a powerful rival to the established Champions League competition. The 12 soccer clubs behind the Super League issued a statement saying they plan to launch as soon as practicable. The founding clubs will be given $4 billion to support their investment plans and to offset the impact of the pandemic. And earlier we spoke to the head of the Center for the Eurasian Sport Industry about the motives behind this group.
I suspect that the end game of this will be some kind of negotiated outcome, and that it won't go ahead. I know not only the Super League proposal in 1992, there was also a Super League proposal back in 2007, and ultimately this proved to be horse trading. It was a way of both sides trying to jockey for position and power. Ultimately, they settled. UEFA found a bigger slice of the cake for the big clubs, and everything moved on. So I think if you're asking me to gamble, I would say that this will get resolved in a not necessarily amicable manner, but in a manner that enables the status quo to continue. Obviously, the pandemic has caused some financial issues for clubs as well, and they've been looking to secure their financial futures. But there are other things happening at the same time too. So, for instance, development in broadcasting technology, particularly digital technology, that is leading to, we know in our day-to-day life, Netflix, for example, and I know that sport is looking at, and football in particular, is looking at the likes of Netflix, Amazon as a way to broadcast their content. I think the other thing to keep in mind as well is whether we call them fans or consumers, they are different now to how they were back in 1992 when the Champions League first started. Very often they're in China, they're in South America, they're in Africa, but also football is becoming much less a sport and much more an entertainment commodity. And so I think consumers are also driving some of these developments as well. For the clubs that are bigger and stronger and striding ahead, and I'm thinking particularly here of the likes of Manchester United, but also others like Chelsea, I think too. Over the last 10 years, they've really started to make money, and not just revenue, they're making profit as well. And they've done that by reaching out into new markets, developing new products, engaging with fans in different ways. So this is not just about salvaging, this is also about moving on to the next step, which is to make football an even more commercially attractive proposition.